FM, The Source.
Minutes after 9 o'clock, 76 degrees, and it's time to learn about the garden. We're going to go in the garden with Carol Ann. Carol Ann Baldwin is here. Carol Ann is a master gardener, and that means she's qualified to answer your questions about your lawn, your garden, your trees, your apple trees, your mulch, and everything else. And the phone number, if you'd like to call in, is 622-9622. That's 622-WOCA. If you're out of the area code is 352. 352-622-9622.
And we are live today.
We are live.
Yes. Yeah.
It sounded live last week.
It probably did, and you know, it was a couple different things just happened to fall in a row. I'm glad to be back in studio. I missed my song, not being here. The one Tuesday was right after Memorial Day, and the Vietnam Veterans Traveling Tribute Wall was leaving Ocala at that point. I mean, we all, the visitors to it, and what a wonderful event. Even with the horrible weather we had for the weekend, what a wonderful event that was put on for that. And it did not stop the people from coming out, which is fantastic. I mean, that shows a lot of people have a lot of respect for those who paid the ultimate sacrifice in defending what we have as the United States of America. But so I went back because you got the other side of that. Somebody has to set it up and take it down. And yes, I enjoy my part of being able to go out and help with that. So that was the one Tuesday, and then last week I went on vacation.
And had fun.
I was sitting on the beach and stuff. I could have called in, but no, I was I was having a cup of tea sitting by the pool at 9 o'clock in the morning.
You got to do that.
Just got to do that every so often.
But the apple tree did miss you.
The apple tree has gotten huge. and I've had this article, just to go with the apple tree, pointed out to me from Popular Science, summer 2018. So it's a new article because we keep saying, they were Gala apples. That that's what it came out of the bag, was a Gala apple. And just the main thing of the article, it says, and I'll read it. Planting apples is a game of chance in which every seed is a wild card. So unlike citrus, which comes true to seed, apples are not.
Isn't that interesting?
The pome's genetics are so diverse that kernels from the same core sprout into entirely different varieties. Though all the cultivars are the same species, we've bred them into more than 7,000 types. And so growers must select the best and graft their branches onto new trees to propagate each distinct fruit. Farmers have been doing this since we first domesticated the apple some 2,000 years ago, and then it gives a chart on how they developed some of these varieties. And the Gala is
it
on
looks like
here.
The solar system, that chart.
It does. It looks like the solar system. I found the Gala. Where'd it go? And it's from like a Golden Delicious and a Kids, all from the original, which is the center, Malice, I'm probably pronouncing it incorrectly, Domestica, out to a Kids, which is a sweet aromatic one, coming over to the Gala, and then another which came from like the Golden Delicious, which is a sweet, soft fruit, which is easily bruised, comes up and comes across to the gala. And then the gala goes and can be part of the jazz. And so it's all this crossing and such like that. But there was really kind of an interesting little just one-page graphic. I could show the camera, I guess. Yeah,
it's kind of hard to see what that is. But there you go.
There we go.
But it does have that solar system.
Yeah, and it's just kind of an interesting. But I mean, I guess you could look at an archive of Popular Science of summer of 2018 and take a look at that for fun if you so desire.
Probably it's still on the magazine rack.
It may be. Yeah, because it only comes out a couple times a year now. Popular Science does. So, but just thought it was interesting and wanted to share that with everybody.
Very cool. Very cool. Yes.
So, but that apple tree, have you posted a picture of that tree in a while?
Not in a while.
It has gone up to a much larger pot, and it has. I think it has grown.
I think that's
4 inches.
Okay.
Since I was here last.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It's gonna be a tree soon.
It's gonna be a tree soon.
None of the things. Nothing looks like a branch yet.
No. I think we won't do any branches for a while because we want to figure, how high it needs to go before how short do we want to make it, or how tall do we want to make it before it'll branch. Yeah. We might do it as a short tree, just to take that to start to create the branches. Yeah, maybe we'll do that this winter. We'll clip the top. It may have enough height to it, and that we'll clip the top and see what we can do.
I think the next step is going to be the half barrel.
Okay.
As far as a pot.
And then it'll have to go home with you then. Yeah.
have to go home with you. I can stay in here, I guess.
Yeah, it's not going to get, but then, when it starts to get too big, because even as Joe said when he had come in, because he was going to harass us today, that, it does need a dormancy to be able to produce apples. So it will eventually need to go outside to where it has rainwater, the normal sunshine, darkness kind of thing. It does make a difference to the plants.
Well, it's defying a lot of things I was told. I was told you can't even plant a seed from an apple.
And I don't know why. I mean,
I don't know why
it's a seed. I mean,
but I didn't.
Yes, they are, like we see, they are hybrided. They are.
But I can tell you this: I've been putting a lot of seeds in the dirt that we have in this room.
Right.
And you see how few of them are actually growing.
Right. So germination rates are not, probably not that great. I don't know how many seeds are in an average apple.
6 or 7, I would say. I've been doing a lot of them. Yeah.
But
so there's probably 100 seeds in this room at least.
And like with some of them, you had planted them, and they came up a month after the first one did.
Right.
So germination rate even is different, or timing may even be a little bit different on that. Yeah. So and without doing it in ideal conditions where they would have been in a misting house, in a grower would have it in an area where it had a regular every 2 minutes it might mist. Yeah, there's a bunch more little tiny ones coming up there. Yeah,
I think that one's not going to live.
Maybe.
This is one little there.
And 2, 3. Yeah, a bunch of them.
Here and see it?
All kinds of them.
They're cool. It's still got the little
little seed cap. Yep.
Yep. Neat.
It is. Growing seeds, starting seeds is fun. I mean, if you, I know here we are in June, and I'm going to talk about Halloween. You know me, I do. I stretch that far. Or you get a watermelon. This summer. I don't know if it'll become the same watermelon that you grew, but if you've got kids or grandkids,
just fun,
why not plant them? Or collect the seed, wash them off. You can, even if they don't get a watermelon this year from them. You can always save some of the seeds in the fridge afterwards. Plant them. Just watch
see what happens.
Grow. It's just an amazing thing. And especially if you have a school-age child or grandchild, to document this as a summer project. What better learning tool to using, language, mathematics, graphing, science, do a little research on things, and learn about it while you're having fun doing it. Same thing with sunflowers. I was talking to a young lady at work the other day who's got a 6-year-old son, and she said that her son just loves sunflowers.
Yeah, they're fun.
And they're fun. And I said,
yeah.
I said, start them from seed. I said, that's the most fun. And I said, make sure that you get some of the mammoth giants, because those are the ones that get 12 feet tall with a great big 12-inch
Wow,
flower
12
head
feet
on
tall.
it.
Wow.
Yeah, with a great big 12-inch flower head. And those are the ones that'll be an edible seed.
Okay.
So you get the reward too. I said, but you can also take pictures as that thing grows, because you can almost watch it grow.
That's amazing.
And especially, and you get kids that are that age, they're fascinated by it, and that makes it just all the more fun. Is at your final outcome is seeing something, because time for a child is they have an attention span of a gnat. So if you can get something that every few days you can look at and it has changed, it's all it makes it all better.
We're up against the first break, and before we take that break, I wanted to tell you, because you weren't here, that we have our 2 winners.
Okay.
And Robin announced it last week.
Right.
This is for the worst gardening story and the best gardening
Right.
story. And each of these 2 gentlemen won a $69 camellia, I think.
Yeah, from Bob Wines. Yep.
So Hugh got the prize for the worst gardening story.
Okay.
And I think Robin told me something about somebody was burying fish.
Fish heads.
Right,
yes.
And then Ray got the $69 prize for the best gardening story.
Yeah.
And his was based on advice you gave him.
Right. Except that he said talking to his tree, and I believe I told him he had to beat his tree. But maybe he didn't want to relay that part of it. But
so anyway, congratulations to both of them.
Both of them,
yes. If you 2 guys are listening right now and you didn't hear last week that you were the winners, you've got a prize waiting for you with Bob Wines. Robin has already called it in, so
all you got to do is go buy Bob Wines and get your camellia shrub.
Just bring your ID.
Fantastic. Bring your ID.
All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back with Carol Ann. If you'd like to call into the show, the number is 622-9622. We'll be right back.
Say, if you've not been to Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens lately, you've missed out on lots of new and exciting stuff in their old-timey greenhouse. There's a great selection of bird baths, fountains, pottery, garden flags, doodads, and those wonderful wind chimes. Most everything's 10% off. Many closeouts are 20% off. Don't forget Bob Wine's for hummingbird and butterfly plants. Too many to name here, but they're guaranteed to attract butterflies, starting at just $7.99. And yes, there's a red tag sale on trees, taking an extra 20% off Bob Wine's already low tree prices. If you're needing mulch, check out Bob's no-float pine straw mulch, as low as $4.75 when you buy 10 bales or more. That's only this week. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala. Daily till 4:30, Saturdays till 3, in the same blooming place since 1952.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front-end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
Mondays are usually hard, coming back from a weekend and trying to get the week started off on the right foot. Well, that is about to change. R.C. Jones, prophetess and pastor representing Hazon Ministry, will be joining us at 9:20 a.m. each Monday. Hazon Ministry aims to build families through love, power, prayer, and the Word of God. Again, join R.C. Jones and start the week off on a positive note every Monday at 9:20 a.m. right here on The Source, WOCA.
Hey, sweetheart, you look upset.
I just don't know how we're going to handle everything coming up these next few weeks. Graduation, Father's Day, Natalie's wedding.
Tell you what, make a list of all the events and what you want to serve. Then, just call Honey Baked Ham at 861-0011. They'll prepare everything to perfection, and they'll even deliver.
Where are they? I may just go by.
2709 Southwest 27th Avenue, just behind Best Buy.
I'm going to use Honey Baked Ham for everything.
Honey Baked Ham, making every day a special occasion.
Insurance needs got you worried? Clifford Insurance has you covered with over 25 premium carriers. Family owned and operated with 200 years plus of combined experience. Call them today, 352-245-5455. Clifford Insurance has the expertise you and your family deserves.
Give me, Alicia Clifford, a call today for a free quote at 352-245-5455.
All right, 20 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's return to Carol Ann Baldwin in the Garden with Carol Ann.
And okay, so I'm sitting there fooling around with stuff and messed myself up here. Okay, we had the apples. I tried to post. Hopefully, I just took a picture of the little article and tried to post it. We'll see if it shows up on the Facebook page or not. So we'll see. It hasn't showed up for me yet. Okay, it's still working on it, I think. On the, we talk about the plant clinics and things like that are around our community and such like that on a regular basis of where, if you can't call in, you're at work, you're driving, or you need to get a visual to somebody. You've always got the In the Garden page,
right.
That you can do that to ask a question, post a photo, invite your friends and such that like gardening, even if they don't listen to the show. I don't post quite enough onto that page, but maybe I'll try to get back at it this summer.
I'll put a picture of the tree on there.
Put a picture of the tree. But you got your satellite plant clinics around the community. We have the Bellevue Public Library, Dunellen Public Library, Downtown Farmers Market. The next one for that is not till July 7th. But here we are. Here we are into the second week of June. It's like where has 2018 gone? We're about halfway through that. But most of the actual clinics and things like that or gardening programs kind of go on a summer hiatus and come back in the fall. But you do have at the On Top of the World Master the Possibilities Education Center coming up July the 13th. Yes, I know it's a month away, but you can put it on the calendar, is pruning trees and shrubs. And this is really informative on how to not practice crepe murder. Something, many of us talk about. We cringe when people say, hey, can I prune my crepe myrtles? Everybody else has, and they look like, and it's like, stop, please. And the other topic is hurricane pruning, within pruning trees and shrubs is not to hurricane prune. It's not beneficial to the trees. Thinning of trees is different, but I think they're talking about hurricane pruning for palms, and it really stresses that palm tree to take and cut off all of those fronds, just leaving the center, maybe 3 of them, because every green part of a palm tree, a regular tree, a holly tree, magnolia tree, whatever, is producing or is going through photosynthesis and producing food for this tree. So removing parts of that are working on that is really fairly detrimental to a tree. So limiting that kind of activity is something you want to work towards. So here's your opportunity to learn how, what, when, why not to prune our trees and shrubs. Coming up the 13th of July from 10 to 11:30 a.m. out there on Top of the World. But anytime, you have your other plant clinics around that you can come in, ask a question that are mobile clinics. Again, like I said, the Bellevue Public Library, Dunellen Public Library, and the Downtown Farmers Market the first part of the month. But starting over, in the fall, we usually pick up some other ones. Looks like in August, we actually have the Florida Friendly Landscaping Challenge coming back up on board. Early August. So we'll talk about that. I'll get a flyer on that. We'll be able to talk about that as it comes up. As we get a little closer to fall. But here, with us being into the middle of June, we're looking at the hottest part of the year. Hopefully your tomatoes, you've gotten some tomatoes. I've actually gotten some decent cucumbers this year. I normally have a battle with the pickle worms getting to them before I get the opportunity to, but I don't know what I did right this year, but I have not had any pickle worms. So I've got some a nice crop of cucumbers. My tomatoes have been a little slow coming on, but I did pick a few of them today. I'm not sure why. I mean, I have fertilized. I've done. This year was not my year for tomatoes, but squash and cucumbers and green beans, I did fine job with those. But as we're coming into this hot part of the month, and your tomatoes are probably beginning to succumb to fungal issues, just the heat. Once our nighttime temperatures, which they have been, is staying well above the 65, 68 degrees. Those flowers, no matter what you spray on a blossom set or anything like that, just don't set fruit. It's too hot for them. The rains are coming too much, which causes that fruit split, which then your tomatoes begin to rot prematurely. And that is just the quantity of water. That tomato just cannot process that, and so that's what happens to them. It washes away nutrient very quickly as well. So trying to just maintain a good time to clean out the garden, do some serious weeding around your beds, or adding new amendments, doing some repair over the summer, or the solarization is another thing you can do here coming up into, if you figure to about the middle of August is when we usually start over or start thinking about middle of August, 1st of September on redoing a secondary spring garden. If you need to do any solarization, if you've had a problem with excessive weeds or nematodes in the landscape, other disease issues as well, you might consider just clearing out one or two of your beds and prepping them for that next plant. Get your compost in there, get your manure in there. If you use a synthetic fertilizer, you may even add that in there. Get that all raked out smooth, it's all weeded out. Water it thoroughly. Then take and put as thick of a clear plastic that you can find across that to where it is touching that soil. That's a key. One key is the clear plastic. Second key is that it needs to touch that moist soil all the way around. Weight it down with bricks or some other soil, dig it down in and make sure that's it, and let it sit for 6 weeks. You're not watering that, turn your irrigation off in that area. You just want that sun to penetrate that plastic and cook that soil. After about 6 weeks, hopefully the plastic did not get too brittle. Roll that off of there, throw it away. It probably will be fairly brittle. And plant. Don't till it, don't do anything to it. Maybe there might be a few weeds that may have survived, but you don't want to turn that soil back over and expose anything that was down deep to the top. You want to just plant right in there and give it a go, and you should probably see some little better successes. Fewer weed seeds, possibly fewer disease issues, fewer insects. At least initially, we all know the insects will find us no matter what we do.
Robin's brother has, he's not a gardener, he's a farmer.
Farmer, okay.
But it's either a big garden or a small farm. I don't know what you call it. He's got corn. He's got
was he got more than an acre?
Probably,
that he plants?
Probably, I would say.
His might be what you would consider a truck farm.
But he does it, I guess, from himself and his family. I don't think.
Right.
I don't think he sells it, although.
Well, he may to for friends or
But I guess the recent rains knocked all of his corn down, and he went back out and he stood him back up, and they're doing okay.
Okay,
So
well that's good. Yeah, I've had that happen one year too, where we actually had to go out and put posts at the end of each of the rows. And string lines to hold the corn up. And that's when I learned after that is actually when you're going to plant corn, do a deep furrow, plant in the bottom. As that comes up, hill back over, it helps to hold them up.
Huh.
So
that's a nice plant, a corn plant.
Corn plants,
big and hardy.
Yeah,
but it looks like a lot of work too.
Yeah, they're heavy feeders. Heavy feeders.
My apple tree's no work at all. I just posted a photo of you and the two
trees. Oh, okay.
We're up against a break. Do you want to give something away?
I just want to remind everybody we will have a Bob Wines gift certificate. You want to give it away now at the bottom of the hour?
Sure.
Okay, so we'll just pick a random caller while we're on the news break and give away a $20 Bob Wines gift certificate.
All right, we'll pick a caller at random to get that $20 gift certificate for Bob Wines. The number is 622-9622. You will not be on the air. We'll take your call during the break, and we'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. President Trump's on his way back to Washington after his meeting with the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in Singapore. Kim says they've decided to leave the past behind and the world will see a major change. They signed a document pledging to work toward peace, with Kim agreeing to give up his nuclear program.
The president says for now, the U.S. will keep the pressure on North Korea.
The sanctions will remain in effect.
President Trump did say the U.S. will stop war games on the Korean Peninsula,
which will save us a tremendous amount of money unless and until we see that the future negotiation is not going along like it should.
The document the two leaders signed does not include a provision on verification.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland, the president, says there will be discussions on both sides about how to verify the North Korean nuclear program's ending. Kim also committed to recovering and returning Korean war remains. Fox News, we report, you decide.
When posting on most job sites, you get candidates.
I'm the sales director.
I'm the sales director you're looking for.
But when you post on Indeed.com, you get the candidates just right for you.
I'm a sales director with an MBA, over 10 years experience, who's also fluent in Japanese.
With Indeed, you can add screener questions for a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates.
Arigato.
Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
Dad, what are you doing?
Cramming for college.
I'm the one going to college.
Yeah, but we need to figure out how we're going to pay for it all.
Discover Student Loans.
Discover does student loans?
Yeah, they're one of the top student loan lenders in the country. It takes 15 minutes or less to apply, and there are no fees for the life of the loan. Best of all, I can earn cash rewards if I get good grades.
Really?
Yeah, we still have time to apply and get a great rate.
So I can just chill. College kids still say that, right?
No one says that, Dad.
Really?
Yeah.
Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply.
Here is your one-minute news brief from the source. WOCA Orlando police are reporting that 4 children were shot to death by a 35-year-old man who had been holding the children hostage during a standoff that lasted nearly 20 hours. The gunman is also dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and additionally, an Orange County deputy was shot by the suspect and is listed in critical condition. The Marion County Board of County Commissioners held a State of the County meeting at the Riley Center for the Arts yesterday. Among the announcements were details of the World Equestrian Center to include a 5-star hotel, 4 indoor arenas, and a 3-acre outdoor stadium. The Lake County School Board approved a plan that would make armed school principals and assistant principals an option. Democrats seeking to replace Florida Governor Rick Scott mostly played nice during their 3rd debate last night. And Disney World is offering one person and one guest a chance to camp out in Pandora, the world of Avatar. And that is your news brief from The Source.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Tuesday, intervals of clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm in spots. The high 85 at the coast, 91 inland. Partly cloudy Tuesday night, low 70 inland, 75 along the coast. For Wednesday, intervals of clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm, high 88 to 92. And Thursday, some sunshine with a shower or thunderstorm popping up, high 88 to 92. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
This is Jennifer McCullough, the Executive Director of Palm Garden.
And I'm Sharon Baker, the Director of Clinical Services.
Last month, I told our listeners all about National Nurses Week, and now we want to talk about National Nursing Assistants Week.
It's the second week in June, and we want to honor all our excellent CNAs who give hands-on care to our precious residents every day. In fact, each department will be doing something special for our CNAs the entire week. It's going to be fun.
A big thank you to our CNAs from Palm Garden of Ocala.
Say, if you've not been to Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens lately, you've missed out on lots of new and exciting stuff in their old-timey greenhouse. There's a great selection of bird baths, fountains, pottery, garden flags, doodads, and those wonderful wind chimes. Most everything's 10% off. Many closeouts are 20% off. Don't forget Bob Wine's for hummingbird and butterfly plants. Too many to name here, but they're guaranteed to attract butterflies, starting at just $7.99. And yes, there's a red tag sale on trees. Take an extra 20% off Bob Wine's already low tree prices. If you're needing mulch, Check out Bob's no-float pine straw mulch, as low as $4.75 when you buy 10 bales or more. That's only this week. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala. Daily till 4:30, Saturdays till 3, in the same blooming place since 1952.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's return to Carol Ann Baldwin in the Garden with Carol Ann. If you'd like to call in, you are welcome and invited to do that. The number is 622-9622 on WOCA. The number is 622-WOCA.
Hey, there you go.
Nice.
Well,
Works out either way.
simple and easy. Yeah, it just works out well for everybody. Yeah, with this time of year coming in, and I've got, of course, everybody knows I work in retail within, the lawn industry. With fertilization, I know probably you, my listeners, probably already know, is leave the fertilizer on the shelf right now. You don't need it. It's they've taken it away in a few different counties and such like that. So there are some products you can use and some products that are kind of recommended at this time of year. But we have, if you haven't noticed, it's been raining, quite significant amounts. And I think we're getting into maybe a little more of our normal rainy season, to where it's not raining first thing in the morning. It's more those, it gets hot, we get the afternoon shower, and then it's sauna, and then nighttime, and you start all over again.
Good word.
That's the only thing, especially when you've got concrete or asphalt nearby. It's sauna. Sauna happens. That leave those nitrogen fertilizers in the garage, on the shelf. They've taken them away in neighboring Lake County, Pinellas, Hillsborough County, or two others, and it is to protect our water. It's we have water is much of the world's Earth's surface, but we need to keep it clean, because guess what? We need to drink it.
That's right.
There are areas that are beginning desalinization because of the lack of groundwater, and I know we can all argue the developers and people moving in and blah, 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 blah. Not going there on that. This is having to do with non-point source. Don't use something your lawn doesn't need. You're not going to take an antibiotic because you're not sick and just going, well, hey, it's going to prevent it. No, it'll actually probably cause you to be sick. Why put a fertilizer down? Why feed something that it can't use it fast enough? Same thing in the wintertime. I tell you, don't bother. Don't waste your money. Every time we get rain is providing nitrogen into the ground. That's where we get a lot of that top growth. You throw a nitrogen fertilizer down on the ground, and it can only take up so much of it, and then we have heavy rains, it's going to wash that right down through. We know we have sandy soils. There's nothing to stop that nitrogen source or that fertilizer from going down towards the aquifer, towards the groundwater. And then we have what? We have algae blooms in our springs. Our lakes and rivers have algae blooms that cause fish kills. So let's just try to realize, let's educate versus what's my word? Mandate, that you can't use it. There's products like a Malurganite, a Super Iron Plus, just Black Velvet, which is a mushroom compost. Neither of those are, except for the Super Iron, are a synthetic kind of thing. Like, I don't know, maybe you'd call Malurganite. Malurganite's Milwaukee's answer to solid waste. You all thought that beer made Milwaukee famous. No. Might have made them famous. This made them rich. I don't know, one or the other. But, and I know some of these big name brand products are out there, with a new summer blend and this. Well, when you look at that bag and it's only 17% slow release nitrogen, that's not much. To be fully compliant with Florida's better management practices, it should be 50% all the time, not 17%. So It's just one of those things. Look at the different brands if you must buy a fertilizer, or even when you are during the spring, early season, coming out of a dormancy, or when we're coming into the fall and going towards our winter months, putting something down to help carry our lawn through into the winter for a nice healthy lawn. Because a healthy lawn's going to be weed free. A healthy lawn's going to be disease free. You're just going to have to get out and mow it. Why put a nitrogen fertilizer down to where you're going to have to mow twice as often? It's like, I have other things to do than mow all, 3 times a week. Twice a week might be enough. So, watching for that. And because fertilization at the wrong time does cause insect problems as well as disease problems, you probably don't need your sprinklers on now. So if you have an automated system, turn that off. If you don't want to turn it off, make sure that your sensor is working properly. Make sure that it's like a little cork or a little sponge can actually absorb and release, and you might check that. I know we changed the batteries in our smoke detectors when we changed the clocks, which I don't know what are we going to do now that we're not changing our clocks anymore. Maybe we have to do that with our solstices and things like that. Of checking that here, the 21st of June is the first day of summer. So maybe first day of spring, maybe first day of summer. It might be those times that we check.
Yeah.
Those little things. It's a small item. Get you a supply of them. I don't know how they come. If you can buy a little box or something like that where you've got a few of them, just change that out. Clean out that little reservoir. Make sure it's not covered with a branch now. A limb now overhangs it, preventing water from entering and that. So just a little maintenance on that. I know we used to have WOCA used to have a irrigation or a guy that used to come in occasionally and talk about irrigation. Several years back.
Did we?
But, yeah, we did.
I don't remember that.
But it was that thing, or maybe it was just an infomercial version of it. But
an irrigation guy.
Yeah, just check those systems. Make sure that they do work properly. We do go through occasional dry periods here in the summer. Not often, but
Do you know, I have a quick story to tell you. You know the weeds that grow up by the fence that you can't get with the lawnmower?
Right.
So you have to use a weed eater, right? Mm-hmm. I told you Robin's brother has like a farm. He bought 5 goats, I think.
Okay.
And the goats eat that.
Oh, yeah.
The goats won't eat the regular grass. They'll only eat those weeds.
Oh, they're grazing on all the weeds. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't graze some of the grass.
No, he said they don't graze the grass at all. They just eat those weeds.
They eat
there are berries in there. There are thorny things.
Yeah, there's blackberries probably.
There's poison ivy. They eat poison ivy.
Yeah. Smilax vine, Virginia creeper. Yeah. Only thing they don't eat is air potato. But speaking of air potato, the air potato beetles, I think, are hatching back out.
New band, wouldn't
stuff.
it? The air potato beetles.
The air potato beetles. That's. Whatever. But no, I was going around mine knocking out some small brush that was coming up with. Yes, I use brush killer. And I saw some holes in some air potato leaves. I didn't see any beetles, but then again, I didn't go back and look real hard. So if you've had or you have air potato in your landscape, during your time of trying to cut it down and dig it up and the rest of it, keep an eye out for those beetles. They do seem to help, but we can always help them along too, because that is all they eat is the air potato. So if we can eradicate that, the air potato beetle will eventually, it will go away because it doesn't have anything else.
And do you have air potatoes out for any reason? I thought they were an invasive thing.
They are, but I mean that's if you're trying to eradicate them.
Oh, I see.
Keep an eye out that those beetles may be coming out.
Okay.
Keep your as you're digging and pulling and the rest of it.
Right.
Keep an eye. They may be on their comeback. The beetles, making a comeback.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's news.
Yeah, well, it is.
Two of
It's
them are
big news.
dead.
Yeah, the Beatles are making a comeback. Yeah, the air potato Beatles.
I think we're up against a break already. Can you
Yeah, I
believe
think
it?
so.
Hey, we have a phone line open if you want to call in. The number is 622-9622, but we're going to take a break right now. So if you call in right now, we'll get you on the air in about 2 minutes. This is WOCA Ocala.
Hey, sweetheart, you look upset.
I just don't know how we're going to handle everything coming up these next few weeks. Graduation, Father's Day, Natalie's wedding.
Tell you what, make a list of all the events and what you want to serve. Then just call Honey Baked Ham at 861-0011. They'll prepare everything to perfection, and they'll even deliver.
Where are they? I may just go by.
2709 Southwest 27th Avenue, just behind Best Buy.
I'm going to use honey baked ham for everything.
Honey Baked Ham, making every day a special occasion.
Friends, countrymen, tourists, and Ocalans, lend me your ears. Hey, speaking of ears, there is an opportunity for you to help feed and provide good maintenance, housing, and medical care for Marion County's rescued big cats, bears, monkeys, and other disabled or unreleasable wild and exotic animals. Take a tour on Wednesdays or Saturdays of the Endangered Animal Rescue Sanctuary. Adults $20, children 12 and under just $12. Call 352-266-2859 for any questions. On the first and third Wednesday mornings of each month at 9:05, Robert Colin will be with us from On Top of the World, Ocala's premier active adult community. Be sure to listen and be sure to call in. Speak with Robert to learn about all the exciting lifestyle and new home choices available at On Top of the World. From time to time, Robert will have guests, and we're sure you will enjoy our little chat. You deserve the world, and we bring it to you. So be sure to tune in on the first and third Wednesdays of each month right here on The Source, WOCA.
Insurance needs got you worried? Clifford Insurance has you covered with over 25 premium carriers. Family owned and operated with 200 years plus of combined experience. Call them today, 352-245-5455. Clifford Insurance has the expertise you and your family deserves.
Give me, Alicia Clifford, a call today for a free quote at 352-245-5455.
All right, 14 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's return to the final segment of In the Garden with Caroline. Got about 14 minutes left if you want to call in and ask Caroline a question or share some of your gardening stories. The number is 622-9622.
Yeah, let's see. I was sitting there playing around through just some stuff in... where did that article go? I just lost my article. But just talking about some other things that you can do around in your garden. If you've got some areas that maybe either grass doesn't grow or you're trying to eliminate lawn in your landscape. I don't have a problem with people having some lawn. I know there's some who just say eliminate the lawn entirely, just have flower beds and mulched areas and things like that. Well, it's kind of hard to really entertain as much or have children play if that's all it is that. So I don't begrudge anybody a lawn. I just keep them low maintenance. But if you're looking to do some ground cover and things like that, you might be and I lost my article, looking for, like the sunshine mimosa, which is a native little ground cover, hugs the ground real nice. Perennial peanut is another one that hugs the ground. I did find out that if you haven't been able to find perennial peanut, for a while, it's because of peanut growers and the inspectors. The inspectors see the perennial peanut, and if it has a leaf spot or anything else, they're going, you can't even bring it up because we don't want the homeowners to have it, that it's possibly spreading a disease back to our peanut farmers who, that's a valuable crop and things like that. But they found a new variety or one that is resistant to that disease or almost disease-proof. So they should be able to get it back out on the market to us, the homeowners, to put it in.
And you have a phone call?
Oh, fantastic.
Good morning. You're on there with Caroline.
Hey, good morning,
Morning.
Listen, I want to ask you, what about using urine as a fertilizer? Someone said that would work. I don't know.
You got to watch you don't burn your plants up. It's not a slow release. It is a urea nitrogen, and I mean that's where probably some of the first came from. But if you take any prescription medications, over-the-counter medications, all of that flushes through your body and comes out that way. And so that can be toxic to your plants. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Another question. Who won that contest about the plants?
You did.
I did. I go out and I talk to the trees just like their children. I thank them for when they do good. I thank them and I pray over the trees, and it really works. So what did I win?
Well, you won a $69 camellia from Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens.
Yeah.
And they have your name. They're waiting for you.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, guys. Thank you. Have a good day.
You're welcome,
You're
Ray.
welcome.
Yeah, Ray won for the best gardening story, and and Hugh, if you're listening, you won for the worst gardening story. You also have a plant waiting for you.
I was going to say, Hugh might be on vacation or something.
I don't know. I don't know.
That or I was off for 2 weeks, so everybody just walked away for a while. I put on Facebook I was back, so.
Do you know, there was a story this morning, this is sort of related to gardening, about a little girl who got out of bed and collapsed. She couldn't stand.
Oh,
Did you hear that?
yes, the tick paralysis.
She had a tick in her scalp.
Right.
And so I don't know if is there a way to make sure there's no ticks in the yard?
Get guinea hens.
Yeah, I've heard that.
They're big tick eaters. Usually, I mean, if you have ticks usually in your area. If you have pets, you've found them and things like that, or you've seen them in the past. There are certain areas in our county. Juniper Springs is a huge. It's horrible for ticks.
Yes, I agree.
So if you camp or you go and you visit there and take nature walks and such like that, do take the precaution of using. Either wearing tall socks so you can see them, spraying your shoes and your socks with repellents and things like that to prevent them from getting on. And do check yourself and your children after being out in those kind of areas, because
it was only one day.
Yeah, it was one. Yeah,
it wasn't in her head all a long time.
Right. It was just something she woke up and she could not. Yeah, she could not move. She could not walk. And I heard that similar story like that years ago up in Carolina, and it took. It was a nurse. Or a caregiver at the hospital who was bathing the child, giving the child, that actually found the tick.
Oh, wow.
And she quickly alerted someone, and they says, when they pulled the tick off and, ran, antibiotic and this and that, and they found, the tick paralysis. And again, miraculously, within like 24 hours, the child was pretty much back to normal. So.
Yeah, I think it was the same with this one. I know it was like 24 hours when the child got sick.
And then and finding that. So do check the hair behind the ears, toes, fingers, other hidden areas on the body when you're out, and that's for adults as well. Adults, it may take us a little longer to have an issue with it, just because our body size. But children and things have a
But I think the paralysis is because we're so close to the brain. I don't know if I'm right.
No,
about
I
that.
think the other. Because the one I'm thinking of was actually down in the groin area where it was found. Yeah,
well,
so it's the bloodstream.
It said something about the female lays the eggs and puts some kind of a chemical into the host.
Right. Well, when they inject, they're getting a blood meal, and so to keep that blood meal being able to form just like a mosquito, they inject which they carry a virus, and that to something to make to where that blood stays thin, it doesn't clot. Because when we poke ourselves with a pin, you get one drop of blood, and that's it. They need more than that one drop, so they inject in their saliva, which has anticoagulant, and they just happen to carry.
That's what makes you itch.
Yeah, it's it's something that helps to break down the tissue, just sort of like a venom within a snake.
Did you hear the snake story? The guy found a snake in the yard. They cut the head off, and the guy went to pick up the head, and the head bit
scratched
him.
it. Bite him. Yeah,
it bit him like it was still alive. I guess the brain, and because I guess normally when a rattlesnake bites you, it gives you one dose of venom, but when it's got its head cut off, it'll give you all of its venom.
Because it doesn't release.
And the guy almost died.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You never pick up use your picker-upper thing or something like that. The head.
Man.
Yeah, the head is still dangerous even after the snake is dead. Yeah. So do use
Crazy
caution.
stuff.
It is that time of year. We are out in our yards, even though it's warm. Stay hydrated. Watch children if they're playing outside. I actually had a memory. I should repost it to Facebook. Watch your children out there because they don't know if they have excessive thirst. Once you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated.
That's what they say. Yeah, I heard that.
And I mean, I've had people at work getting too hot, and it's like we keep a refrigerator full of water. Stay hydrated. Go go cool off. Work in the early part of the day, when it's a little bit cooler. Wait till the evening again when the sun comes down and it's not beating down on you to get those jobs done outside. And so, an overcast day, anything like that. The yard will wait. That kind of thing. If it's too hot to be outside, go do the dishes because they'll be there too. It's one or the other. There'll always be dishes. But be careful out there. Watch out. Children wear the T-shirts with the designs on the front of them. And I don't know if they have too many out there anymore that are almost like a vinyl on the shirt. It's that slick, shiny stuff on them. That makes that part of that shirt not be able to breathe. And so that's trapping heat right in the core of the body. So watch even what the kids are wearing when they're going outside. Light colors. Try to be on the safe side. Hats, sunglasses. You have the fine ladies from Ocala Eye, which will tell you, your sunglasses. Your eyeglasses. Wear eyeglasses. Wear a hat with a brim. You can read. You can see. Fantastic. But all of those things make for our time spent outside to be a good time and not somebody getting hurt or getting sick on things like that.
Can you give a real quick presentation on what to do if you're, let's say, going away for a couple of weeks? What do you do as far as the lawn goes?
If you're gonna go away for, say, you got a vacation, you're gonna you're gonna get away from the heat for a week or two. Usually your lawn's gonna be fine. Go ahead and mow it. Maybe if you can get somebody to come, even if you have to hire someone for that short period of time, to make sure the lawn still gets mowed, because we don't want to come back to, say, 6-inch tall grass and having to mow that off because those big clumps don't break down easily and things like that. So having someone reliable be able to come out and mow for you. We're not going to be fertilizing, so we don't have to worry about that. Trimming and things like that, I would not worry. If I was going on vacation, it's going to be there when you come back, or take care of those things before you leave. Houseplants and such like that, if they're well watered, they're going to tolerate it. You might get them gathered together in a large pan, or say a kiddie pool. You can put stones in the bottom, get you a couple bags of like river rock or something like that, and put a layer in there, and you can put water down in that. And that's going to help to keep humidity without them sitting in a puddle of water. They're going to be in there. Or you can, if you travel a lot or do things like that, make your own water wick when you plant your plants. And that's like using cotton wicking down into the pot, bring it out of the drainage hole, and then it can sit in a saucer or in an elevated saucer down into that kiddie pool or other thing and just absorb water while you're gone.
That's a good idea, too.
Yeah.
Wow. Some good ideas.
Just take it easy. Don't worry about, enjoy your vacation if you're going away.
So if you lived in Arizona, someplace really arid, I guess you're just going to come home to
and things like that. It's you would have plants that are going to be more suited, or hopefully, that you're not going to bring exotics in that are water hogs into an area that's very arid. So it's, even your house plants and things like that, if you can gather them, you can even put them in the bath. Water them well before you leave. That's probably your biggest thing.
Yeah, but 2 weeks, let's say that's
2 weeks,
a long time.
Most house plants will go a good week or better once you've watered them thoroughly. There are some little gadgets and gizmos out there, little water globes that you can fill full of water.
Right.
Once your plants are, your plant has to be thoroughly watered for these to work. Otherwise, when you turn and poke that down into the soil, that soil's just going to go, ooh, water, and take it all out of there. But if it's well watered, put that globe in there. There's a couple of different ones out there. Some of them you might have to buy online that actually use like a 2-liter soda bottle if you have larger pots and containers. If you can put them outside, even in a protected area where they'll get rainwater, just make sure they have decent drainage. But if they're house plants like your corn plants, your sansevierias, yuccas, and things like that, don't just take them from your cool shaded living room and shove them out in the sun. Take them up, where they'll get water, but some protection from the sun too.
Good advice. All right. We'll take that to heart, and hopefully we all get a trip somewhere. Some kind of a travel.
Enjoy the summer.
Well, thank you, Carolyn, for doing this. You have to work today?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, man.
Yeah, on the way to work from here.
Well, I'm glad you had a time off last week. So
yeah, and I am glad to be back.
Sun and fun.
That was it. Yep. A little rest and relaxation.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Thanks, Larry.
We'll take a little break. We'll be right back. Matt Gibbs up next talking about your cars.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster.
We have developed a very special bond.
President Trump's meeting with Kim Jong-un started with smiles and a 13-second handshake. It ended with the signing of an agreement pledging to work toward peace and an end to North Korea's nuclear weapons program. The president tells Fox's Sean Hannity.
I just think that we are now going to start the process of denuclearization of North Korea, and I believe that he's going back and will start it virtually immediately.
To critics saying the president's legitimizing a dictator by sitting down as equals, he tells reporters.
We've gotten a lot, so when I hear somebody in the media say that President Trump